Welcome back to ProBuild 360 TV commercial construction series. We've got another lovely project for you to have a look at today. It's a 1906 locally listed building that was originally a bicycle factory and has been used as a textiles factory and distribution center, and most recently the basement has been used for a local gun club, so there's actually shooting ranges in the basement. So the project involves turning this building into 24 apartments with 4 office spaces in the basement that are allocated to 4 of the premium apartments above. Let's have a look at some of the plans and get you oriented with the project. As you can see here, we have the basement. Some of these long runs are where we currently have shooting ranges, but obviously we're going to be putting these access staircases in and getting them usable for office space for some of the apartments above. Then we have ground floor, as you can see, with 8 residential apartment units on the ground floor. On the first floor we have the same, and up on the roof we're actually deconstructing the roof and installing a lightweight steel frame extra story that will be clad in standing seam cladding, and we're putting another 8 residential apartment units up on the newly built second floor. Here I have the elevations for you so you get an idea of what the building looks like from the outside. And as you can see here at the top, this is where the new story will be built, and some of the sections to show you the construction details. So we have basement, ground floor, first floor, and the newly built lightweight steel frame second floor. So now that we've shown you the plans, let's go and get our boots on the ground and go and see the building for real.
Here we are on the roof. What's happening up here is we're stripping off all this roof covering. We're going to install a structural steel frame within the grid of the structure of the roof that's existing. Off that structural steel frame, we'll be installing a lightweight steel frame that's going to form the structure of an entirely new story. Within that story, you've got 6 brand new apartment units. Those apartment units are going to have a little perimeter around that lead up to this lovely little parapet wall. There's going to be balcony space on there. Obviously we'll have better edge protection than just the existing parapet, but we need design work for that doing. And that entire new structure is going to be covered with a standing seam cladding, and that's going to look $1 million. So from here as well, we can get a little bit of site context. Behind me you can see the National Grid substation. They share site access with us, and that needs to be clear at all times 24/7. So no skips, no vehicles blocking that at all. We've got an area for site management where we've currently got our first roll-on, roll-off skip that the lads are filling from the strip out. The next area will be for material storage and drop-offs. And then finally, the lads are clearing the area of ground down here so that the site cabins can go right up against the wall and have a really tidy site compound. So at this end of the roof, what we've got is our dilapidated end of the building. That wall back there is actually pulling right away from the main structure. And when we go inside, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You can see the extra pooling of water all here on the roof. That's because this roof structure is buckling and it's causing a dip. And that's why the water's gathering there. You can see we've got a small tree growing out of the roof structure itself. And what's going to be required is some investigative works to expose some of the structure. That'll allow the structural engineers to do their investigations, come up with some design and calculations that are going to enable us to rectify that. That toothing on the brickwork that you can see in the corner behind me, that shows just how much this external wall is pulling away from the main structure. That's the kind of dilapidations that we're dealing with on this project. The structural engineers are going to give us their full design and specification, and that'll give us our blueprint for the remediation works. Another point of interest on this project is that it's a locally listed building. That means a lot of the features of the building, both externally and internally, are protected. One of those features is this rather dramatic timberwork staircase, the front door, and all this panelling that you can see around me. The challenge is going to be that we need to protect it from any further damage than has already occurred during the construction process, and then we're going to look at how we're going to bring it back to life through the restoration works. Here we have an example of one of the many corridors throughout the building. There's going to be apartment units coming off to the left and right of here through these doorways that you can see behind me. And the mechanical and electrical services are going to come through a drop ceiling and be splitting off into the individual units throughout. So last of all, here we are in the basement. The history of the building itself is that it was built as a bicycle factory. For the last 20 years, it's been used as a textile factory and distribution centre. And since that's been discontinued, it's been rented out to the local gun club, and the basement has been operated as shooting ranges. We're going to take a walk down those shooting ranges and give you a look. What we're doing with the basement is we're going to strip it out. Some of these walls are coming out and they're going to be turned into workspaces that are going to be allocated to the individual units above. So behind me is one of the 3 shooting ranges. All this is going to be stripped out, and the first thing that needs to happen down here, because we are below ground, is the tanking and damp protection. These structures that you can see above my head, these are called baffles. They're angled pieces of timber that prevent the bullets from ricocheting upwards. So if they do hit anything at high level, they're going to ricochet downwards, and that's going to prevent any injury or damage. Behind me, you can see the end of the shooting range where they've got the 10-pin bowling pieces that were used as targets. So all this is going to be stripped out, damp-proofed and tanked, and that's going to give us our clean slates down here in the basement to go into the installation process. Well, that's it for today's update. The next time we revisit this project with you, there's going to be massive changes. This whole roof's going to be stripped off. There's going to be structural steel everywhere. Can't wait to show you again. See you on site.